Hello, folks, and welcome to another great episode of the Gridiron Glory Podcast, the Pro Football Podcast, where Tad and Will cover all 32 teams in the NFL. We're here to talk about Falcons versus Buccaneers, a battle in the NFC South. The Falcons did go on the road and beat the Buccaneers 31-2, 26. And it's kind of a thing between Tad and I because, we went pretty back and forth in our preseason research. I was pretty hard struck and, sticking to my guns that the Buccaneers would win the NFC South. And he was sticking to his guns that the Falcons would win the division. So the two times the teams played each other, it was kind of a thing between us. So, Tad, I will say that I believe in the preseason. I perhaps might have doubted the greatness of Kirk Cousins. And looking at everything that's happened presently in this current season, I mean, Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback in the NFC South.
Kirk Cousins.
And yeah, Tad, I would just really like to quickly ask you, where would you rank Kirk Cousins amongst starting quarterbacks in the NFL overall?
In the NFL overall, let's see. He's obviously
definitely
behind
top 5 NFC.
I'd argue that he's top 3 in the NFC. I think I'd argue top 3 in the NFC.
Yeah.
But if you go to the AFC, there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the AFC, like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Mahomes, Jackson. So it's a little tougher in the AFC, but in the NFC, he's one of the better quarterbacks, I think. Right up there with guys like
Jalen Hurts,
and Jared Goff is having an incredible season.
Is Matthew Stafford still a top? Would you say Matthew Stafford is even up there?
Man, I don't know about that, Will. I know Matthew Stafford, he's a quarterback that he's a veteran, if nothing else, but he's got some skill. He can still make incredible throws, make incredible plays. He's got 2 incredible receivers with Puka and Cooper Kupp, obviously. But Kirk Cousins, I'd say Kirk Cousins is a tier ahead of Matthew Stafford myself.
And then, obviously, yeah, so Kirk Cousins, he goes out here, he throws 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Big shout-out to the offensive line, only allowing the 2 sacks, so keeping Kirk Cousins on his feet most of this game. Bijan Robinson, 13 carries for 63 yards. Tyler Alliger. I mean, this is a pretty well-rounded Falcons team. Kirk Cousins even did take it on the ground a few times, going for 16 yards. Kyle Pitts, 4 catches, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tad, where would you rank Kyle Pitts amongst the wide receivers amongst the tight ends? Because this was National Tight Ends Day. This is National Tight Ends Week, if you will. So, Tad, where would you rank Kyle Pitts amongst the tight ends in the NFC?
I mean, I think it's clear that he's easily the best tight end in the NFC South, no question there. But when it comes to the NFC overall, I mean, I'd put him. I mean, he's behind Kittle. He's probably behind Laporta. Though Laporta's not having the best season. Probably better than Kmet in Chicago. Dallas Goedert
Kmet, who can also be really good sometimes. Cole Kmet.
Probably slightly better than Goddard. Trey McBride in Arizona is having a great year, I'd say. So I'd say Kyle Pitts is probably top 4 or top 5 in the NFC in that range.
Love it. And then Drake London kind of had a quiet game, only 4 catches for 34 yards. So kind of a quiet week here. Kirk Cousins did have that 1 fumble. I mean, the offensive line did do kind of, did do a good job for the most part. But that was a moment where, the defensive line did get through.
They did.
I mean, the Buccaneers, like I said, these 2 teams are 2 teams that know each other very well. They're definitely rivals. So,
2 games.
2 good teams, overall in the NFC. Definitely 2 top 10 teams in the NFC, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
right? Out of the 16, they're in the top 10 at least. Yeah, and then on the defensive side of the football, Tad, you got guys like Jesse Bates. You got guys like Tyler Alliger as well. I mean, this Falcons defense, was I mean, obviously, I feel like they're more of a middle of the pack defense, but got the job done.
Yeah, the Falcons defense, I mean, it's not top tier, but it's probably slightly above average. I mean, obviously, Jesse Bates, the veteran safety, he's incredible at what he does. Matthew Judon's been pretty good this year, I'd say. So they got some pieces. They definitely do.
And then for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we look at that. They offensive line did a really good job not allowing any sacks. Baker Mayfield, 37 of 50, 3 touchdowns. The 2 interceptions is what probably hurt them the most. And yeah, it's had 3 of these touchdowns, 2 of them on National Tight Ends Day were thrown to Cade Otton. Cade Otton, 9 catches, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 10 targets and went off on my fantasy team against you. And Tad, I'd like to personally ask you, I mean, yes, you gave me your preseason ranking, but where is your current ranking now on tight end Cade Otton in the NFC?
I mean, Cade Otton is a tight end that can be sneakily good sometimes. I mean, and he was in this matchup. On tight end day, he went off, had a big day. He was the most reliable target. And I mean, it was nice to see him step up with we know what happened with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So he stepped up with his 2 fellow receivers out for the foreseeable future, especially with Godwin. Evans could come back in the short term, but Godwin's out for a long while. So they need Cade Otton to step up and sort of up his game, and he did so.
He I would say he's like him, Cole Kmet, like Trey McBride. Like to me, like when I think of tight ends like that, they give me like vibes like that. Like those tight ends that can be like sneakily good sometimes. And like Cade Otton is just like he's one of those tight ends that can be sneakily good sometimes.
Certainly.
Yeah, you also got I mean, the defense, I mean, obviously, you wanted a better performance, especially late in the game. I mean, though you did have some big plays from guys like Winfield Jr. and David and a few others. So, but you need some work, obviously, going into next week. And next week, if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're going to end up playing the Kansas City Chiefs on the road on Monday Night Football, the 7-0 Chiefs, a rematch of the Super Bowl a few years ago. And then the Falcons, it looks like they are going to go end up playing the Dallas Cowboys in the noon slot on Fox next Sunday in Week 9. So, Tad, did you have any final thoughts or takes on Falcons Buccaneers?
Yeah, just a big win for Atlanta. Get the sweep, take the division lead. 2 very good football teams. Both will be in playoff contention.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Tad and Will here covering all 32 teams in the NFL. This is the Gridiron Glory.